Are you ready for some tea? Some wedding tea? Well, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Desiree here, and do I have another real wedding, crazy, dramatic story for you? So allow me to sit this down. So I hope you all have been well, and I would like to thank each and every person that has subscribed, that has viewed, that has liked, that has commented on the last 25 episodes. I feel that's a milestone, you all. So I am patting myself on the back because this is a project I started in April of 2024 and I am still doing it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So we're about to head on into episode 26. And this episode, I think we'll call Online Shopping Debacle. Online shopping debacle. Yes, that is the story. And listen, this one is a bit ridiculous in my opinion, but it did happen. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, I need to give you some background on this couple. This couple was a younger couple. They had hired me and my team for what we call day of or wedding management. We're going to plan the wedding themselves, and we were going to come in and implement those plans, all right? We do this a lot for couples who cannot afford our larger packages, but still want to have that DE experience, and then, of course, be as stress-free as possible on wedding day. So this couple reached out to me via my website, all right? We have on our website, we list out the services that we offer, and then if you click the link, you can actually dive in and see what the services entail, as well as the starting at cost, all right? So the couple reached out, they picked a particular service they were interested in, which was our wedding direction event management, and we set up the appointment to meet with them, all right? I loved them. I thought they were really, really cool. They were young. They were fun. They were very much excited about their wedding. It was going to be taking place at a very, very fun, unique venue in downtown Chicago, a venue that I happen to like very, very much. Let's say it's all white and windows. Yeah, that might give you an idea where it's at. They also were a DIY couple, or should I say the bride was very much into DIY. And if you're not familiar with DIY, that's do it yourself. So many of the wedding elements, the bride was going to do with her two hands, all right? And possibly the help of her wedding party or even some family members. So she wanted to eliminate the floral bill for one, all right? And she also wanted to eliminate some rentals. Now, let me just say this up front because I have this in my contract. I always talk about contracts, y'all. Y'all know one thing about mine. I'm not playing about that contract. I have in my contract, if you have any DIY elements, we need to know about it 30 days in advance. I need it to be detailed. A detailed explanation of what you are seeking for us to do, because we're not a DIY wedding and event planning company, okay? So that means I may have to outsource or bring in an additional coordinator based on the number that you already have in your contract who can focus solely on setting up these elements, these things that you have created. I expressed this to the couple during our call, because she shared with me that she had purchased some things on the lovely Amazon. Now listen, I like me some Amazon. Yes, I am an Amazon Prime user. I'm all about it. I believe they have some great wedding items on Amazon, okay? But DIY is not for everybody. Hence, DIY is not for me. I am not putting together nothing. I don't know how to do it. I don't like reading directions. I don't like hammers, nails, screwdrivers, pliers. I don't like none of it, okay? So if you want our team to do something like that, you need to express that. You need to be detailed about what you are wanting us to do, and then I need to see if we can do it. All right, because if we can't, I need to let you know that up front. So for one, you can hire another wedding and event planning company, or two, we bring on someone additional to take on that task. All right. So the couple, after I explained all this to them, they were cool. She explained to me her DIY tasks throughout the wedding planning process, okay? She was going to be doing the save the dates and the invitations, and her biggest DIY project was going to be the centerpieces for her tables. Now, this couple was expecting about 100 to 110 wedding guests, so she was planning on creating 10 centerpieces. When she said 10 centerpieces, my face might have showed what I was thinking, okay? I had to say, listen, sweetheart, explain a little bit to me about these 10 centerpieces. What do they entail? She said that she had ordered a bunch of flowers and she was very much interested in centerpieces that looked like trees on the table. I'll pause for reaction. Allow me to say that once again. She had ordered flowers in items to create centerpieces that looked like trees on the table. I said, okay. Now, funny enough, her groom chimes in. He was like, yeah, all this stuff keeps coming to the house. There's Amazon boxes everywhere. Our dining room table is taken over by this project. So yes, she's really doing it. I said, okay. So you speak about these trees. I need to get an understanding. Are these trees going to already be pre-assembled, or do you need us to assemble, quote unquote, the trees? She informed me that she was going to build the tree out. So it's going to be on a table, so I have to believe it's not going to be too tall, but there's 10 of them, all right? And she was going to create 10 of these tree arrangements with flowers and branches and whatever else she was sharing with me. And she was going to give them over to us so that all we had to do was place them on the tables. I actually had her repeat that several times because I needed her to understand if we have to assemble these tree designs that you've created, I need much more detail, okay? And I'm going to for sure have to bring in someone to even see if this is something we could do. And then furthermore, how are these trees getting to the ceremony reception venue? She shared with me, I'll get back to you on all of that, but we want to go ahead and hire you. I'm like, okay, but do not take too long about this DIY project because listen, y'all, it's in my contract. And one other thing, I will back out of a contract if there is something that I cannot complete or cannot deliver on. I am not going to tarnish the name of Dejanay Events because you building trees and want us to put them on the table and they don't look right. Okay, I'm just going to keep it real. She and the groom decided to go forward. They signed the contract. We get started with the paperwork. Since they had hired for our day of, actually, we don't speak with our couples until about 8 to 10 weeks. And I don't mean speak, but we don't have formalized meeting with our couples until about 8 to 10 weeks before the wedding. So they had hired me several months before the wedding. So I did check in emails with them to see how things were going. And I had discovered that throughout those check-in emails is that these tree arrangements, they weren't going as planned because she was having some challenges getting them to look exactly like the photo that she had. And furthermore, she didn't know how they were going to get there. I said, well, sweetheart, if you're having some issues, maybe you need to hire a floral designer that deals with artificial flowers, or maybe you hire a decorating company. So I gave her that suggestion. She said, you know what? That sounds good, Desiree. I'm in a few Facebook groups. I'm going to see what I can find. I said I understood and that I would send her a few referrals or vendors that she could check out. Now, I don't know their budget in regards to what she was trying to spend or save when it comes to floral, because again, we're hired for management only. So I don't deal with the budget. To be honest, when it comes to management, I could care less what the budget is. Just long as you can pay our wedding management fee and that you give us everything that we need to implement that wedding day, your budget can be $10,000 to $150,000 to $200,000 to $2,000. It does not matter to me, okay? So I didn't ask her what the budget was. I said, hey, I've got some people. I'm going to go ahead and send this information to you. Reach out to them, see if they can create or do what you're interested in. She said, sounds good. I checked in with her time and time again to see how this process was going. She said everything was going smoothly. Thank you so very much. So let's speed this thing up. We get to about 10 weeks before the wedding. Okay, and now I need to send her a message to say, hey, we need to jump on a call so that we can go ahead and start planning out the timeline, finalize those details. I have a few questions about contracts. Let's discuss the rehearsal. And then also, I need all of the vendor contracts because I hadn't received them yet. I need all of the vendor contracts regarding the people that you have hired so that we can make sure they are introduced to us as the wedding directors on that day, and that they should take instruction from us because you and your fiance are going to be enjoying your wedding ceremony and reception. She picked a date. I worked with my assistant. We set up the Zoom. We're now on the call. This, y'all, this had to be the longest, most confusing call I had in a very, very long time. This beautiful bride, this lovely bride, this sweetheart here, had gone on Facebook and had found a few people that said they can do what she was interested in doing for these tree table arrangements. So me and my assistant are like, okay, tell us a little bit more about the companies. So she's sharing the information. I said, well, where are the invoices? Have you hired someone or what are we doing? She says, well, I haven't hired anyone yet. I'm like, sweetheart, we're 10 weeks out. People are booking. They need to know that you want them for this project because if they have to order items, etc., they need to go ahead and get started. She said she understood and that she had reached out to several and she shared some information with a few that she had discovered, again, in Facebook groups. She sent over invoice to one of them. The most useless invoice I had ever seen. It just literally listed 10 centerpieces, the price, and the final total. I'm like, well, sweetheart, with the invoice that you receive from this person, we need some details. We also need them to know where the location, where the ceremony and reception is taking place, what time they need to be there, what time they need to return to pick the items up, that they're setting everything up, that they're not dropping off, and that they are literally doing what you are asking. You can't just create an invoice in Word and send it over and ask her for half this amount and then expect this to take place on wedding day. So she's like, okay, I understand. And listen, this bride was a sweetheart, okay? She was very receptive to what me and my assistant were saying, but I had been saying this within these emails as well. I had given her some vendor suggestions for her to check out. I had told her and shared with her some questions to make sure she asked. I did all of those things that I was not necessarily paid to do, but I wanted to make sure that this young, beautiful couple had the wedding they were looking for. She shares this information with us. We're going back and forth. Again, very long Zoom meeting. I believed when we got off the call that she understood what we were speaking about, okay? She said that she was probably going to go ahead and hire this company and that she would send over the invoice and the contract for me to review prior to her signing that. Now, again, that's not something that I was hired to do, but I was willing to do that for this couple because I wanted to make sure that they had hired a professional and that this person could implement what she was expecting so there's no shock on wedding day. And the reason I did that is because let me explain something to you, real talk. If anything goes wrong, okay, anything from any contracted vendor on wedding day, it's my fault. You've heard 25 stories, not 25 stories, but you've watched 25 episodes. And I have to believe that in each and every one of them, it was always my fault. Now, did I do anything? No, I didn't. But I was always blamed for something. And that's why I wanted to step in where I could, because on wedding day, this beautiful August day that they were planning, I didn't want no drama. I didn't want no issues. I wanted things to be understood and set up the way this couple wanted it because I didn't want to get blamed for some DIY project that my hands did not even touch. Have to keep it real on that one. Tune in next week to learn more about this vendor.